Today, we're reacting to everything announced at the Game Awards, from Borderlands 4 to Mafia 4 to The Witcher 4, and of course, we're talking about winners like Game of the Year. But what was our favorite game of the show? Stick around to find out. Welcome. Welcome, friends, to this week's episode of Good Playing With You, the weekly gaming podcast. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by my gregarious group of Matts, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matt Maulding.
Hey now.
We've got to cover some huge announcements at the Game Awards, so let's hop right into the show. All right, gentlemen, the Game Awards was last night. Did you get a chance to check it out?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Long show.
It's the Oscars. It's the Oscars for nerds.
It definitely was, and it definitely was. Well, let's talk, rather than the awards, I mean, there's great awards, great games, all that sort of stuff, but let's talk about not what we've already played and what's won. Let's talk about all the great games that are coming, hopefully, next year and beyond. Let's talk about some of those big announcements. First off, one of the first trailers that came out, even before the actual show started, was Slay the Spire 2. Maulding, I know you're a super fan of this like me. What did you think?
Yeah, I think both of us are really into this one. Matt, have you played it? Did you play Slay the Spire?
I haven't, but I've been invited to play this game like 60,000 times from friends. So I know it's good, and I know it has a huge following. So give me the breakdown.
It's a card game that you like a card game with like a action. What's that breed of game it's called?
Roguelite or whatever?
Yes, roguelite. Thank you. And it's a simple animation, but really, really complex gameplay where you're building a deck with individual fighters, and it's really incredibly fun. And it looks exactly the same as the first one with new characters. I'm still super excited to play. I'm sure they have some surprises and some new cards in there that will be great to find. But yeah, it looks great.
And I'm sure people like you, Lord, are like, ugh, card game, next, fast forward 30 seconds. But before you do, it actually is a really cool game. I was not into card games at all. And you know how I always talk about how BioShock blew my mind and turned me on to first-person shooters? Well, Slay the Spire did the exact same thing to my pea-brain when it came to card games. I now occasionally dip into card games, and it's because Slay the Spire, I'd often heard it referred to as the best card game, out there. And I was like, okay, whatever, might as well try it out. And then I fully became addicted. It is outstanding. I own it on the Switch. I own it on my phone. I own it on my computer. It is, and it's like the one. Like I've tried others, like they're not as great. So I'm super pumped to, see that they're doing a sequel, even if it doesn't look exactly like the same. If not, maybe, the graphics are a little bit better.
Yeah, I was going to say, what did the sequel bring to the table that the first one didn't, would you say? Nothing, just...
It's hard to tell from the trailer.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Just more. That's all we want.
And it made Dan card game curious. So if you're interested in becoming card game curious.
All right, we got a lot of games to cover, though, so let's keep it moving. And let's start with one of the biggest games of the show, one of the best-looking games of the show, and one of the ones I'm most hyped about, The Witcher 4. What did you guys think?
I mean, that was a strong trailer, I will say. And just Jeff,
can you describe it for the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, basically a young girl being sent off to get sacrificed, and why am I blank? And basically, she gets rescued. There's a whole series. Yeah, Siri. Yeah. I'm like botching the Witcher names. There's a huge battle between Suri and the monster, and what ends up happening is the girl who was going to be sacrificed runs back to the village, but gets killed anyway by the villagers, and she comes out. Siri comes back victorious from this battle, goes back to the village, finds her dead, and obviously she's upset. She just rescued this girl, but she's dead anyway. It was just a really well thought out trailer, very powerful,
gorgeous.
I just thought it was great. It felt very dark, and I thought it was thought out very well. I thought it showcased some of the superpowers that Siri was going to have. Like she had those, she had the electricity, and then she had like that chain set
The
up.
Wonder Woman whip. She had a
Yes,
Wonder Woman whip, and
she
I
had a
was like,
Wonder Woman whip,
"What?"
and I just thought it looked really cool. Like that whole setup, just looked great. So, what did you guys think?
Well, I'm going to mention a couple times during the show that with no gameplay, it's really hard for me to like these things when they're just cinematic trailers. But we know that what the gameplay is going to be like for The Witcher 4. We know it's going to be top tier, just like Witcher 3. And I actually have something that came from IGN because I was curious about why they were going with Ciri, and Ciri is the protagonist. And speaking exclusively with to IGN ahead of the reveal, the producer said that it was a very organic, logical choice. It was always about her, starting from Saga when you read it in the books. She's an amazing layered character. And of course, as a protagonist, we said goodbye to Geralt previously. So this is a continuation. I guess for all of us, it's like she was meant to be, that was always her. Game director Sebastian Kalumba added that because Ciri is younger than Geralt, players will have more freedom to define her character in a way they couldn't with Geralt. This also affords the developers more space to explore her character. And I think that's a great way to explain why they went with him. I think a lot of people are probably going to be a little angry, but they're just going to have to get over it because she's awesome and I can't wait to play as her.
I agree. I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air, a new start, a new trilogy. I agree. There was no gameplay, but I also agree we can trust them because The Witcher was, great before even, forgetting Cyberpunk for a second. The Witcher is so great, and The Witcher itself, Witcher 3 and 2, had like a lot of trailers just like this leading up. So it's giving me the exact same vibes that I got before, and they're just good vibes. But good
Yeah.
vibes to have. So I'm super pumped about that
I
one.
mean, honestly, I'm gonna miss Gerald a little bit. I'm gonna miss Gerald, but
Geralt.
Trigger people in the audience if you keep calling him that.
It's just gonna be, yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, and I think this is a way, to be honest, because we spoke about this on a previous episode, if it's going to minimize any sexist talk that goes against this second game. If you're playing with, one of the most powerful women in that world. So, hey, that's a kill two birds with one stone situation as well.
Yeah, and maybe that means we get to see a lot of D, a lot of big D
Maybe.
that she gets to interact with.
I mean,
So
we can
I'm
only
on board
hope.
for that.
Yeah. Fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah.
Moving on to other big games, another surprise of the show was Elden Ring. Now this is a new co-op version of the game. Actually, it's a new game called Nightreign, and it's coming out in 2025. What do you guys think?
Maulding?
Looks like Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Looks like, I mean, you can play co-op in Elden Ring. It's a little complicated to get it done, but this will be interesting to see what it plays like right from the very start.
Yeah. So the takeaway is now you can play co-op in any moment of the game. Is that
that's
we can expect?
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Because
one thing I noticed though is that there were at least 3 people at one point battling it, and one person's head looked like a bird. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you can summon multiple people to help you out in those games, so you can have more than one person. So that's that's a standard thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the whole world is getting shrouded in that purple haze. Interesting. So is this gonna just be a DLC that you're gonna wind up getting, or is it gonna be
this
pay?
is a standalone game, they said. Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be a whole standalone game. So do you think that you're gonna have to pay like $50 for it?
I bet it's gonna be 50. That would be my guess. That's 40 to 50.
Wow. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I did see this, I was hoping we were maybe just getting a totally different FromSoft game. Because I feel like we just got Erdtree. I couldn't even play Erdtree because I'm not at that point in the game yet. I needed like 50 more hours. And I'm just like, okay, back to Elden Ring right now. I know it's a humongous success, major success, but I wouldn't have minded maybe a trip, somewhere else. Maulding, am I talking crazy right
No,
now?
no, no, not at all. It
Okay.
looked a lot of the same. I actually thought it was going to
Yeah.
be right away. I thought it was going to be a new Dark Souls,
Yeah.
and it wasn't, obviously. And also, special note: all that drama about Erd Tree being in Game of the Year contention, and I don't think Erd Tree won anything. So,
Yeah. Crazy.
spoiler alert: if you
That
didn't
is
watch it
wild.
last night, yeah.
All right, moving on. The Outer Worlds 2. Now, this was a really interesting trailer. I actually had to stop, rewind, and watch it twice because it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. It is, the original Outer Worlds, but even funnier, even better looking, I thought, with more weapons. It looked like a fun version of Fallout that was really beautiful, unlike Fallout. So it looked like what Fallout should be to me. And I know their connection to Fallout, New Vegas, and that sort of stuff. And it seems like they're really one-upping Bethesda with this and running with this sort of franchise. So I'm hyped for it. And yeah, I'm throwing some shade towards Bethesda since they did me wrong with Starfield. And I'm psyched. I think this looks super great. What did you guys think?
Outer Worlds 1 was fun. It felt a little half-baked to me. It didn't
Yeah,
quite go as far as I wanted it to. It
I
felt
agree.
it did that one did feel like DLC to me a little bit. It was just I think Outer Worlds 1 just was a little bit simple to me, and this looks a little bit more involved, and I think that is what I was looking for in an Outer Worlds. So I'm super pumped for it.
Yeah, that was what pretty much stopped me from playing the original Outer Worlds. I think we talked about it, Dan, and I heard it was just kind of basic, generic, kind of not generic, but just basic one. So I the first one I didn't play, and this one, it reminded me. You know what I thought? I thought it was initially I thought it was a sequel because I was kind of watching from a bit of a distance and I couldn't fully see it. But what was the one that's from the Rick and Morty creators?
Oh,
Um,
yes. The one with the
yes,
talking guns? I can't
yes.
remember what it's
And I
called. Yeah.
thought it was that at first, and then I was like, oh no, okay, it's Outer Worlds too, so that makes sense. And I thought it looked pretty, and that was sort of why I was like, this is kind of funny. I'm hearing some good dialogue here, and then yeah, no, it's Outer Worlds too. I think this is something that is on my radar and would be something that I would definitely pick up.
And it'll most likely be Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh, I
that's
need to
exactly what I thought.
resubscribe. I need to
Yeah.
resubscribe.
Yes, you do. All right, moving on. The next one was Split Fiction. This was the one from Joseph Ferris where It Takes Two. And the reason I want to talk about this one is because It Takes Two did win Game of the Year, I believe, in 2021. And that
Yeah.
was the co-op game you could only play it in co-op, and you bought a version of the game and then your buddy could play it free. And essentially it was a husband and wife story and they were getting divorced, but then they made up through this adventure that they were going through these child's toys. And this is the follow-up, and it's called Split Fiction, and it's the same formula with the co-op, which is why I explained all of that, so that you can buy it once and play with your buddy. But this time you're playing two female writers that are then kind of sucked into the worlds that they've written, and they might be getting their creativity ripped off or something like that, and you have to like fight these evil I think there's some sort of meta story, and you're going through the different worlds that you might have written with the two sort of split screen co-op, just like the other one. I loved the original version. I'm very hopeful on this one, although the story I'm not so sure about. What did you guys think?
Well, Joseph introduced that game in a pretty wild way. That dude has had some caffeine, and
He's
he
so
was,
annoying.
yeah,
I
I don't
hate
know.
He's so annoying, and the Game Awards obsession with him
I
is
know.
so lame. It's
Dude,
really
I
annoying.
agree. I'm like, this guy needs to stop cussing right now. That was my initial thought. I was like, this guy is going way too far. The game, I thought it looked cool. I mean, very colorful, very vibrant. And to me, what held me back with It Takes Two was I didn't like the art style that much, and this art style speaks more to me. Um, so this is something that I would Again, like I need a friend to play video games with. Something I don't have, which is a theme for a lot of these games.
Sad.
Which
You
is
have two right here.
I know. Hello.
I know.
What do we
I
chop
know.
liver?
Is that why you had a baby, so that you could just have someone to play video games with?
I am waiting for her to get a little bit older so she can play some video games with me. And no, but I think
playing the long game with that one.
Yeah, seriously. This one definitely is, it looks cool. I mean, hopefully it captures the same magic as It Takes Two.
I agree. I don't know that it can, but I definitely have that hope. And it's something to put on your radar because it does come out, I think, next March. So it is really soon. That was interesting. I was surprised to see how quick it was coming out. The next game up on the show was, believe it or not, the one I was the most anticipating, Borderlands 4. What did you guys think? I mean, okay, so wait, let me describe the trailer for those who you didn't see it. It actually opens up with a completely different art style that looks great and a battle between clones and people we don't know, and then they battle. And that means absolutely nothing. We never cut back to that, and it was totally fucking pointless. And then it goes to the game, and it's the cel-shaded Borderlands we know and love, with no real point and just lots of shooting and no jokes or introductions really to our heroes, and then it ends. So that pretty much tells you what I exactly thought of that and how let down I was. What did you guys think?
I'm so happy. I really thought you would be on your knees just deep throating this trailer, and I'm so happy.
I was ready to. The trailer was limp. I wanted to. The trailer was limp.
It was limp.
I'm so happy that
it had too much whiskey.
Now I can trust your opinion on lots of other things. Is because
let's not go that far.
Honestly, I was so disappointed with it. We talk a lot about some games that, Witcher. I'm excited. It's going to play probably very similar to the other Witcher with the story, but and so I like knowing what I'm going in on and expecting something. But man, the character designs just looked lame. Like nothing about them seemed unique. They were just 4 humans. There wasn't like a little robot or anything. Now they usually put DLC out where they add other characters for you to play at, but man, it just did not do it for me.
Yeah. It just doesn't look, it needs some time in the oven. I think they were like, we need to get something out, because they started the trailer exactly where the last trailer left off, with the holding the psycho mask. And then it was just like, and then it went into it. I'm like, okay, they're going to I liked what I was seeing with the clone, and the one woman was up in the huge arm mobile. And I was like, that's really cool. And then it just
but that's not even the graphic style of the game, and it's not really going anywhere. And how is that going to pay off? It just, I don't know. To be honest with you, I felt like it was a bait and switch. It made I didn't even remember the other trailer. I thought it was stupid. And then I thought the rest of the stuff just looked like more Borderlands, which is fine. Let's be honest with you. I'm going to buy it anyway. But I just want to actually like it too. And I think that might be too much to ask for this one.
You don't want to play it like work. You don't want to have it be like like the job that you have to do to play it.
Exactly.
Be done with it.
I was truly disappointed, and I have to say that I think Borderlands 4 was probably the most disappointing trailer of the show.
I could see that. I mean, now that you break it down, as in it felt like 2 different parts, it does feel disappointing. Like, it doesn't make sense now that I think about it.
No. And then they didn't even introduce the new villain or the new characters. It was just a bunch of shooting. And I'm like, dude, I played Borderlands, quite a bit. I know exactly what it is. So
I mean, in Borderlands defense, it is a bunch of shooting. That is its thing. So
true, but it's got to differentiate itself from the others. Yeah. And this one, even with the gold logo, I was like, seen it.
Yeah.
And I'm only harsh on it before anyone freaks out and tells me to go F myself, which you're more than welcome to do. I'm only harsh on it because I do truly love the franchise, and I've played them all to death, and I'm going to still do that on this one too.
We love it. We're just disappointed in it.
Yes.
And there's nothing worse than being disappointed.
The classic.
I agree.
The classic. I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
And then speaking of a game that's had a lot of disappointing sequels and that literally came out of left field and nowhere, was Turok Origins.
Yes, this is one of the ones that was just a cinematic trailer, no gameplay, but I had to put it on there because I loved Turok. And
Me too.
if you go back and play Turok now, it's just like polygons, and it would be miserable to play. But back then when it came out, I loved it. I loved the human and fighting with dinosaurs. Like that was all new back then. So Turok has a special place in my heart. So I was very excited to see a new
I couldn't
Turok
help but
game.
just think it looked like that Evolve game that was just like that
Mm.
4-player like hunt the monster game, and I was just like, hasn't that already tried and failed? So we're having another game that is very similar. It looks a lot like, I mean, it's going to be PvE. It looks in third person, which is a little bit of a turn for the Turok franchise. Didn't we see like a third person look? Am I
Did we?
hallucinating?
Oh, I thought
I
it
thought
was
we saw
all cinematic trailer. I don't remember seeing
I
gameplay, but
thought we
maybe I
saw
blinked and missed it.
I think it was very quick. They did like a very fast, like it showed a character and it showed his like aimer, and it was kind of doing like a,
Hmm.
it was very brief. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I just thought it was gameplay, but yeah, I looked third person and I was like, okay, that's a little bit of a different departure. I mean, they're trying to maybe do like a Helldivers, and I feel like that, to be honest, like that's what I felt like a lot of the games were trying to go for in this. Just really trying to capture that co-op experience, because Helldivers was just such a success. So it kind of makes sense for them to pivot this particular game in that direction in my mind. But this one is something that I I don't really see myself jumping into unless there's like a huge push with everyone else.
Like the Maulding always says, I need to see some gameplay before I commit. I need to see gameplay. But speaking of Helldivers, which you kept bringing up, that was the next game that was in the show. And it was a surprise because they'd announced Omens of Tyranny update, and it's coming out now. And if I'm not mistaken, it looked like almost like zombies we would be shooting now. Did you guys see the
I
same
saw it.
thing? And what did you think?
So it's the new enemy is like
Yeah.
is new enemies here. I mean, to be honest, it's too little too late for this game.
Oh
Like
no.
I know, like it's already taken so long. They're acting like this game is at its peak. When I saw it, I was just like, this guy's on stage or whatever, like talking in his little uniform and trying to play it all cool. I'm like, dude, this game has already gone to the wayside and you're acting like this is a brand new feature. I'm like, this is something that should have been introduced like, dude, 6 months ago. Like,
I
come
agree.
on. But I mean, then again, it did look like there was a lot of enemies on screen. I do love to see that. So if there's like chaos with a lot of different stuff going on, then hey, count me in. I could give it a shot. Why not? I have the game. Give it a go. Maulding, would this get you into the game?
No, I mean it's not the game for me. I'm not really. I'm way too late on it. It sounds like it came with some lemons because Matt Lord, you are soured on it.
Dude, I'm soured.
I was thinking up that one. The only thing that I loved about this is I love a drop, an
Yeah.
unexpected drop where it says it's out now, and that's what they did it, and I really respect that.
No,
But
I'm with you on
I'm
that.
not interested in playing it. No.
Dan, what is your take?
Well, I think we actually had this conversation when we thought new enemies were coming out about 8 months ago, but my answer still remains now that there are new enemies in the game, I will dip a toe back in the water and see what it's like. And to be honest with you, I love killing zombies. So if they're anything like zombies, I'm going to be, because they looked zombie esque. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be, all over this one for maybe a weekend. I mean, the holiday season's perfect for this sort of thing. So when I have downtime from all the other 57 games, I'm going to jump in.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you
Good call.
noticed it, but there was some fine print at the bottom that said items in game may require war bond purchase, or it said
Yeah.
something to that effect. So
I
No.
assumed that they were talking about the capes and the weapons that they were. So I just kind of like threw those out the window and just focused on the enemy.
But
And
also, Dan,
hopefully,
like you notice they're all driving in a car now. I'm assuming that's like a brand new feature as well. Like they're like a warthog esque vibe. I don't think that's been in. That's got to be a new thing, right?
I'm not familiar with that either. It's got to be some sort of
Yeah.
stratagem.
Oh yeah, that's true. That could be cool. I mean, it could be fun to drive around in a car like shooting zombies. I think that. So,
Yeah, with your buddies being
well,
idiots. I'm
yeah.
down.
So we'll see. Maybe it has a resurgence. We'll see.
We'll see.
have fun.
Okay, moving on to games that also still have no gameplay and destroy Maulding's patience. The first Berserker, Khazan. can someone describe this one? Because it was like a white guy or white like freezing guy with white hair going through the forest, and then he gets possessed, and then dinosaurs jump out and he punches all the dinosaurs, and he
Yep.
goes to a castle, and then he punches a really big dinosaur, and then like everything catches on fire, and they go outside and they fight to the death, and he stabs him in the throat, and then it's over, right?
Yep. That's it. No, all cinematics, no gameplay, and I guarantee you it's going to be like a Soulsborne sort of game.
Yeah. Another Soulsborne.
Yep.
Was this also a game that was shown off at Tokyo Game Show like a while
I
back?
think this is new. This is like new.
This-
Yeah, it
brand
looked new to me.
Okay.
I mean, who knows? They all look the same.
I
They
know.
all
Dude.
it's really even the monsters that they're fighting just kind of look the same as lots of other stuff that you see.
That was like a major take.
I
was
thought
like
the same thing, but then I was like, okay, he's fighting dinosaurs in the snow, so that's different than dinosaurs in a jungle. It's original. I'll allow it.
Yeah, no, I did like the big knife going up through the chin of the dino at the end. I thought that was pretty cool.
It looked good.
It did look good.
Yeah.
Like, so
I just
we'll
don't know
But it wasn't
what it
gameplay.
is.
Yeah.
It wasn't gameplay, like, so another one that's like maybe. That's on a maybe list for me. Picking
All
up.
right. Well, one game that's definitely not on the maybe list for yours truly is Dying Light: The Beast. I can't wait for this one. Anyone who's familiar with the Dying Light series or just zombie games in general, it looks like the protagonist from part 1 is back, and now he's part of a genetic experiment that is making him into some sort of beast that we will get to be. And then we're going to roam around in the jungles and rip the heads off of zombies and shoot them and run on walls and drive cars, and it's multiplayer, so we should all play it together because it looks fantastic. And yeah, it's kind of stupid, but I'm in, man. This looks super great. What did you guys think?
Well, this is where I'm going to be a hypocrite, where I say, I want something new, but for this, I don't want something new. Dying Light is so much fun,
Yes.
and I want
Agreed.
more of it. So
Agreed.
I don't know why I feel that way about this, but not about Borderlands, but I do, and I can't explain it.
And this is where I just get completely honest. And when I heard that they were going to announce this, I kind of just looked away because I just didn't have any interest in it. And
oh no,
the reason why is because I felt like that teaser that they showed of, they showcased it like a little while back. It just didn't like seem very cool. And I'm not like a humongous I've tried to get into Dying Light a few different times, and it didn't resonate with me. So this is one of those ones where if you guys were to pick it up and play it, I would jump on board.
All right.
Nice, because I definitely will be there, and I will be hounding you to pick it up as we get closer. We could even do a live stream together. It could be a thing. I'm super pumped for it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, speaking of multiplayer games, there was an interesting trailer featuring Post Malone for the Hunt Showdown. Maulding, I know you felt strongly about this one.
Yeah, I wanted to mention this. This trailer came out before. This was a commercial, actually, that they had in there. But for one person in particular who's a friend of the pod, Brendan, check out the new Showdown with Post Malone. It looks really great. I hope you enjoy it. It's I think Post Malone is the protagonist, and you're fighting in a circus, it looks like. So I don't know how it will compare with the Hunt in the base game, but check it out. And anyone else who's a fan of it, check it out too.
No, I mean, sure. Sorry, Dan, go for it. Sorry.
For people wondering why Post Malone is in this game, which is like a multiplayer kind of team hunting monsters game, it's because he's a super fan. He's talked a lot about playing this game while he's out on tour. He's been very vocal promoting it, and so they just decided to make it official and bring him into the game.
Oh, I had no idea
about that.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow, that's a cool posty factoid I never knew I needed to know. And I mean, Showdown was really cool. Like, I loved watching streamers play it. I never played it myself. It always looked honestly too intense for me.
It's intense.
Yeah.
And stressful. Intense. You get permadeath on your characters if they die.
Yes.
You have to start all over again. There's like
and you can lose your weapons, you can lose your XP, and that's the number one reason I will never play that game.
And it's just
PvP and PvE.
No, I mean, it could be this one, like, Circus. It might be like a little more accessible. So I don't know. And if
Maybe.
Posty is
Yeah.
involved, it seems pretty sweet. I'm in.
All right. Well, yeah, I think it's on Game Pass now, actually.
Oh, it is?
It
Yeah, I
could be.
think
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
I'm pretty sure that it did. But anyway, moving on. The next one was also a surprise to me, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. It was Game of Thrones Kingsroad, and this is an interesting take. It looks like you are trying to unite the different houses throughout the world to fight the White Walkers. So you're at the wall. We saw glimpses of Jon Snow. We saw who else we saw? We
Varys.
saw yeah, Varys. Yeah, I saw him. He was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We saw,
Jamie
I think
Lannister,
we
yes,
saw
Jamie
Jamie. We
Lannister,
saw Sister Lannister too. We saw
Cersei.
her Cersei, yeah, on the throne.
Yep, we saw lots of White Walkers, and so this, and I don't think they were voiced by the original actors, so that was a
Oh,
little bit
Varys.
interesting.
No, I think they were. Varys
Oh, really?
absolutely was, and I'm pretty
Oh,
sure Jon Snow was too. I don't know about Jamie Lannister, but I'm pretty sure Jon Snow was.
so what did you guys think about this one? Because I didn't know to expect this one. It seems to be coming late since the series has already ended, but it was kind of nice to see our favorite characters fighting the White Walkers again. Will you
Yeah,
pick it
to
up?
be honest, I mean, after season 8, though, they're gonna hit us with this random game like 4 years later. I just think it's asking a little much out of the disgruntled viewers out there. Um, I, but still, it could have a redemption arc. We could have this game that could be really cool, and then it could totally bring the show back into its good graces. I like what they're going for, and it seems cool. I like the Jon Snow aspect, really dope. I don't know, Maulding. What do you think?
I'm in it. I'm in. Gave
He's
me
in.
chills. I hated the last season like most people did,
Yeah.
but this takes place before that. I
Oh,
think this takes place I mean cuz Cersei's on the throne and Jon's at
yeah.
the wall and the wall's intact and you're playing it doesn't look like you're playing a character that you can create. It looks like you're playing a character that's established in the world. I'm super pumped for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
I want more of it. It reminded me, I got that feeling. Do you remember The Matrix? There was the game that you got to play that involved story between the first two movies, or it was maybe the first two movies or the second two movies. But the game had stuff that was referenced in the movies that you did. You played as Jada Pinkett Smith's character. It gave
Yeah.
me that kind of vibe where it was like it's kind of filling in some space within the world that you get to play in, and I loved that.
That's really cool. Does that Enter the Matrix, by the way? I think.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think it was called. I think it was. It was not a good game, but you
Yeah.
played through something that happened and was referenced in the movies, and I loved that.
No, if it fills in some gaps and makes and elevates the story, like bravo. Let's have that come for sure. Dan, are you pumped? What are you thinking?
I'm on the fence on this one. I don't think I'm going to be picking it up. I didn't think the graphics were that good, to be honest with you. I did think the character designs looked exactly like the actors. So bravo on that. They looked identical. It was, interesting to see. I'm going to have to wait for reviews on this one. Sure would be nice if it came to Game Pass. Maybe I'll pick it up when if I have nothing else to play. We'll see what happens. But I did love
Yeah.
the show, so I want to love the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, well, speaking of games I do love, and it's the Mafia series, and the next trailer was, in my opinion, mind-blowingly gorgeous. It was probably the best looking trailer in the whole show, if you ask me. It was Mafia The Old Country, and then you're playing a young protagonist back in, I guess, Italy, but they're all speaking English for some reason, but that doesn't really
yeah,
matter.
because people
And
don't
you
want to
are
read.
yeah, and you're being, indoctrinated into the original Mafia when it very first gets started, and you get to see all of the beautiful Italian countryside and the cars and the violence, and you get to be part of it. And it looks like a great story with some betrayal and surprises. I was a huge fan of what they did to the. I liked the first one, but then the remake was so gorgeous. I ended up loving the first one when I just replayed it this year. Ended up buying the second one and the third one, even though the third one had nothing to do with the first two. So I'm in on this one. What did you guys think?
I don't think anyone can look at this trailer and not say that video games are art, because it was gorgeous. It looked like the story is going to be super involved and super intricate, and I can see lots of twists and turns happening it looks like a movie that you get to play, and it just makes me really excited.
And let me be a bigger dumbass than usual right now. I actually so they announced it, and then in my head I was hearing like a Japanese accent, and I was like, whoa, we're gonna have like an old like a we're gonna have a mafia guy in like feudal Japan. Now that's gonna be an interesting spin on this Mafia series. And then I was like, wait, no, he's been just like an Italian guy this whole time, and they're in Italy. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So I was just like being totally stupid, but you're right. It looks so good, and I loved that there's gonna potentially be horse riding in it. I took note of like there's the car and the horses. I love games where you can ride horses. I just think that's just like such a fun way of getting around.
As long as you don't have to take care of them and
Yeah.
and wash them and
Agreed.
I'm looking
like,
at you, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just let us ride the horse like it would be a car, please. No, I thought it looked good, and then the way you were kind of having those like fist fights in the villa-esque setting, I thought that was really cool looking. Like that got me pumped. So no, my expectations are pretty high, and initially I was like, who is asking for another Mafia game?
Dan.
But I know
Yeah.
Dan, obviously. And so that one definitely exceeded my expectations.
Well, Hangar 13, God bless them, because Mafia 3 came out, and I understand what they were trying to do, and it just didn't quite hit. And part 1 and part 2 were so great. And so to reinvigorate the franchise, the remaster of 1 was a masterstroke, brilliant idea, because it totally got me back into it. And it was because of that one that I'm so excited for this one. Now, to be honest with you, and to temper your guys' expectations, this is not necessarily an open world game as it should be. I mean, maybe this one is, but 1 and 2 were not. It was a very linear experience in an open world, if that makes sense. You went somewhere, you did a mission, and then after that, you went somewhere and you did a mission. And you just didn't run around. There wasn't like a lot of stuff going on in the world. And so that's a bummer. But I understand, they're not the hugest studio, and they're very good at what they do. So this is just to temper your expectations. It's just a very different experience, and you have to love it for what it is. And I'm assuming this is going to be the same, and I'm open to it.
Sweet.
Yeah, definitely. So I can't wait to get my hands on that one. Now, the next one was also interesting. It's called Dispatch. It came from the people who brought us The Wolf Among Us. It was introduced by Aaron. What was his name?
Aaron Paul and Laura Bailey.
And Laura Bailey. And I just want to give one little shout out to them as they introduced this on the Game Awards. Their chemistry and comedy was great. They were so funny together and so cute when they introduced this. It actually made me want to like this before I'd even seen the trailer, because they had such good chemistry together. And then the trailer was pretty good. It looked like some sort of like animated show, actually, where you're a fallen superhero who gets stuck in the office, and you have to then be like an 911 operator for superheroes, and you have to put them out in the field, and they get to do all the work that you want to do, and you can't do it. So you're like a dispatch operator for heroes. And then you're working, of course, and that's Aaron Paul, and he's working with Laura Bailey's character, and they've kind of got a sassy relationship. And then there seem to be some really funny jokes. This is truly not a me game at all, but the chemistry made me very curious. What did you guys think?
It's also not a me game, but I love Laura Bailey. If anyone out there watches Critical Role, she has chemistry with everybody. She seems to be absolutely delightful. I really enjoy watching her. She's really engaging, and she's just such a prolific voice actress. She voices anytime Black Widow is in any video game, that's always Laura Bailey. She was in Last of Us, and then Aaron Paul obviously is from Breaking Bad. But also not my type of game, but I'm in it. It's superheroes. It looks like you're going to play like a TV show, is what I felt like I was going to be creating by making these decisions. And I'm in it for all those things. It's a good recipe.
Yeah, I had the same takeaway. Maybe a very interesting concept, might not be my cup of tea, but it looks like they've put a lot of effort into the art direction, and the voiceovers seem to be pretty spot on. Like I thought, like I wasn't sure. I was like, hearing Aaron Paul on this, it might sound a little different, but I thought it matched really well.
Yeah, he sold it.
He sold it, and I mean, it showed you a tidbit of what they're trying to go for, and that is like you get a dispatch and you send out particular superheroes, and you're trying to get it into a range of like where you're resolving the crime, whatever. So it almost feels like I don't know, for some reason, like Pokemon keeps coming to my head. So like if it's
that's because you're obsessed, bro.
I know. I think I have a serious problem. So in my mind, if it's something like that where you have like these different, like super effective types or yada yada, and you're getting it into a particular range, I think there could be something there. But we'll just see if that's the only thing you're really doing in the game. That could be a hang up.
I think you're maybe even making it way more complicated than it is, because
Really?
I think it's because I don't know. Did you play the Walking Dead games? Like,
yeah,
I
it's
think
just kind of like a story, simple.
That's what this is gonna. Yeah, I think
it's
you're
having to
making
do
it
that?
more than what it is. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a bummer. I did see that it was
It's like a
Telltale.
choose your own adventure type of made into a game.
Well, that's kind of a bummer.
We need to move on. Real quickly, I just want to briefly touch on the surprise announcement of the Okami sequel. I did play this back in the day. I thought it was beautiful. Couldn't really get back to it when it was transferred to the Wii. But I love Amaterasu. I'd definitely be interested to see where this goes. Any reaction to this?
Jeff made it seem like they were announcing Half-Life 3. I thought that was a little rude, because I don't think anyone's asking for Okami 2, man.
I mean,
I do have to tell the listeners, though, the funniest text ever came through this morning because Maulding decided to troll Lord and texted that he had heard Half-Life 3 was going to be announced just to get Lord excited. Yeah. And I knew that he was trying to just get you this morning. And it was like seeing you get all excited and then all depressed was truly...
no, like
it made I love playing with emotions.
Like, no, Keely had me. He was like, and this is like the biggest announcement we've had ever in your life. And then I was like, oh, Okami 2? Like, okay, I guess that's cool. I mean, I am stoked. Like, don't get me wrong. This is a game guaranteed. I love Okami 1, so I will be playing this one for sure. But
seeing Lord Maulding get you with the text this morning was just priceless.
It really was the icing on the cake. Maulding had me. I was like, Half-Life 3. Oh my God, I can't wait.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about the ending of the show. At first, the ending of the show was Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. Okay, so that means nothing to anybody, but let us explain to you why it should mean something to you. So it was like this, like a space outlaw, and she's gonna go find somebody and take on all of these missions and hunt people like a bounty hunter. And she's got a shaved head. She's this cool girl. It looks beautiful. They play some Pet Shop Boys, so they're kind of cool and edgy and fun and trendy. And then she flies around and it looks gorgeous. So then I'm like, well, okay, well, that's a game. And then they announced the pedigree, and essentially this is coming from Naughty Dog, and it's from Neil Druckmann, and it has an original score from Trent Reznor, and it's been in development from 2020. And suddenly my eyebrows, were blown off my face, because that is such a pedigree that we should all know this game. This game has the potential to just rock us all, and I've never even heard it before. My expectations are through the roof with these people working on it. I wasn't necessarily blown away by what I saw, but it wasn't gameplay. So under the Maulding rule, you never can tell what this actual game's going to be like. But with the people and the pedigree and the studio, super pumped for this game I've never heard of, and I don't know what it is. What do you guys think?
I think there was like 4 seconds of gameplay there when she jumped up and fought the robot with her sword. I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
was gameplay.
That's right.
So
That's right.
there was a smidge of it. I'm in it. I love it. I think it looks great. Those facial animations, or that motion cap, is just delicious. What I hated was it was an advertiser's dream. You saw Porsche, you saw Adidas, you saw Sony in there. Ridiculous. I hate that shit, that advertising shit in games. I hate it. What I loved was that mix of analog technology, digital technology. You saw the little anime on the television, all that feeling that it had. Loved. Hated the brand stuff.
The biggest fault I thought of this, while I was watching it, was I'm getting major Concord vibes. And
what? This is, you think it's going to be like a multiplayer game?
Well, no,
like
I mean, I was getting Concord state of play reveal vibes from the initial thing, and I was just like, we're getting Bounty Hunter again. I'm like, man, didn't we already like have this? I'm sure it's going to be obviously like a single player game. So
I think
once they revealed that, I was a little relieved. But also, did you guys see who she was going bounty hunting after?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought she was
He's
going
awesome.
after. So I thought that was like an interesting cameo. So it might have more of like, I have a feeling there's going to be like a celebrity flair to this game as well. I think you're going to like see some celebrities. So I'm going to want to see some more gameplay. But yeah, I mean, from that little tidbit, the sword with like the plasma sword that she has, like that is right up my alley. So like more of that, perfect.
The only thing that has me concerned is, are they already planning for this to be an HBO series before the game's even created? Because if that's the case, oof, I'm out. Because now you've made me concerned with like the sort of cross promotion, and then maybe the music was a little too Guardians of the Galaxy. Is this derivative? Should we not be excited about this? Man, now I'm torn. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm with Maulding.
Manage expectations.
You see product placement like that. I get a little guarded. I'm like, there's something fishy going on.
And it was
here.
ridiculously blatant.
Yeah. But no, I think there's enough to be excited still, Dan. Don't worry. It's exciting.
Okay. Well, overall, what did you guys think of the show? Any standout moments? Any standout things that you saw? Anything you want to mention before we start wrapping this up? Moving on to the rest of the headlines.
Should I just go first?
Yeah,
go for it, brother.
I mean, to be honest, I thought the best part of the show was that arcane music moment. I did not think I was going to be vibing so hard to that. That music was bomb. They weren't kidding. Like that actually made me want to watch the show. Did you guys think the same thing?
I fast forwarded right through it. I was on a time. I was on a time situation.
I was like, this is so good. And then my other takeaway is, because to be honest, so if you don't like anime, co-op or Souls games, 2025 is going to be a tough year for you, friends. We didn't talk about like the 30 anime games that they showcased. No, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was actual craziness. Like we didn't touch on a lot of games. So
we're living in a Hoyo verse.
Yes. Like we really are. And
they all could be the same game, and I would have no idea. They all, I hate to say it, that's just the way I feel about those games.
No, I feel the same way. Like luckily I could jump into like a JRPG, no problem. But like, man, if you didn't, then you might have a problem. And then just a question and observation, like, is it illegal to have a male protagonist going into 2025? Because I mean, there was one, the Berserk one, I guess would be the one that I could really
The Game of
count.
Thrones game.
Game of Thrones. But
Yeah.
then I don't know. That was about it. So I mean, just something to take away. I don't know. It's just I don't know what to make of it. Obviously you can make the game you want to make. Totally, but it's just I didn't see any male protagonists, which is kind of an interesting thing.
So it certainly doesn't bother me because
Yeah.
women have been playing as dudes for basically all of video game history.
Sure.
It's nice to have different representation. I'm all about it. The only thing is that it's noteworthy. It's
exactly.
there.
It just
I would
seems
like a
skewed at
variety
this point.
though. Like,
Right.
I would like to see different people. That's all.
For sure. So those were my takeaways. Should I say my
But that
grade?
includes guys too.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it
Well, okay,
grade
yes,
time or no?
yes. Well, Maulding, did you have any thoughts
Yeah,
before we get to the grades?
We're running out of time, so I thought it was a good show. I think the awards were also good, except for the winner, Astrobot. Full disclosure, I haven't played Astrobot, so I can't judge it, but I do not judge it as a game of the year game.
Yes.
I can say that without playing it.
Well,
So
I've
I
played
was a
it
little
and I can
disappointed
tell
in that.
you're probably right, but it had good vibes. It didn't do anything super unique or super original. It was just nice to see platformers back. It was nice to see Sony taking a swing on something different. It was original. It wasn't DLC and it wasn't a remake and it wasn't, like a lot of the others contenders. So I think it did deserve just on good vibes and the fact that I really love platformers, so I'm completely biased.
The fact that it's a Sony advertisement for all of Sony brand
It
games
is, yeah.
really turns me off. And then having it win Game of the Year just makes me think how much Sony paid Jeff Keighley to put it as the #1 game.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
A first time a tech demo has won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are harsh. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
But for grades, what about you, Dan? What did you think?
Yeah.
I just yeah, it's fine, whatever. I mean, it was a good show. I think
You're like, "Hey."
yeah, I mean, it was what it is. It always is the same thing to me. I think there were some really sweet moments. The music was definitely a standout. I
Love
enjoyed
to
what I
see
saw.
Flute Guy back. That was nice
Yeah.
to see him back there.
Well,
fluting
piano
around.
guy went hard too. Did you guys see the piano guy
No, I
going
didn't
hard
see
and
piano
stuff?
guy.
And then he
He was
stood
going
up and
hard.
started rocking out. Like, he was cool.
He was.
So definitely good times. Too long of a show for me.
Yeah, it's too long.
But
Too much
I
patter.
thought, yes, but I thought it had some great trailers. And that, to be honest with you, friends, is the real reason that I tune into the Game Awards show. So from that end, I thought it was pretty good. What did you guys think in terms of letter grade, though?
Maulding.
B-. Good trailers. Would have been a B+ had Astrobot not won Game of the Year.
Yeah. I'm honestly, I think I'm going to give it a C, to be honest. I think
Ouch.
I think, I mean, there were some games there, but there were, I mean, I'm giving it a C because they didn't drop Half-Life 3, but I should have expected that.
That was a
I
joke
set
from
ya up.
Maulding this morning. You let him ruin your whole life this morning.
I'm telling you, like, I had really, for some reason, I mean, this is obviously me being so naive. I had very high expectations going into this. And then when they dropped the 30 anime video games, I just couldn't believe they were like, I'm like, this is wild. They're really going this route. Like, so it was a little bit of my expectations were a little skewed. But yeah, I'm going to still stick. I think C is my grade.
Yeah. I did enjoy the show because I fast forwarded through a lot of it. I thought it did have some really notable big trailers. What makes me excited about the Game Awards is that this is our first real peek into the lineup of 2025. And I'm a little bit more excited about 2025 than I was for 2024. I think the reason that Astrobot won this year wasn't even that great in video games. But next year, friends, next year is going to be a banger because I'm telling you, I thought this show was great. I'm going to give it an A-.
Whoa.
Even with that Borderlands trailer that totally sucked, I'm hyped enough to give this show an A-, and I'm pumped for the new year.
Nice. That's awesome
Yeah.
to hear,
I
Dan.
think
Hell yeah.
that's good. I do have to say, Lord, that I agree. Next year looks like a lot of Soulsborne games.
Yes.
It seems really stocked with them, or not
Yeah.
even necessarily Soulsborne games, but that third person action RPG that
Mhm.
just kind of really looks the same all over the place. I play them. I really enjoy some of them. I just there's a lot of it.
Right. Who do I gotta chug to get an FPS around here? Like, is
Who do
that
you have to goon?
who do I gotta goon? Like, I'm telling you, I that's what I was waiting for. I was like, okay, they're gonna at least drop an FPS, something like
Yeah,
maybe a new
that's true. They
IP,
didn't.
and didn't drop any of that. So I was
All
like,
right, fine. B plus, B plus. B plus. Jesus. All right,
no,
shush.
all right,
You're ruining
yeah,
my. You're
there we
harshing
go.
my
Harshen.
buzz. All right. Well, that was an amazing show, but we still have a couple of headlines left before we wrap this thing up. First up, Call of Duty seems to have some controversy. Lord, you had this story.
Yeah, new week, new controversy. This comes from Ted Litchfield on PC Gamer. Call of Duty Black Ops 6's upcoming Bong gun sparks serious backlash on X. So here's why. Just listen to these comments. And I'll go and explain what this bong gun really looks like here in a second. So, banning players for swearing, but promoting drug use, declares one comment with 800 or 8,500 likes. Another goes on to say, imagine banning people for swearing, but promoting using drugs, asserts another with an eye-watering 11,000 likes. And here's another one. But heaven forbid you tell someone they're trash at the game. Another bemoans. I love using the word bemoans. One even shared a picture of the offensive chat warning they received. So this bong gun was is going to be coming out in like later this month. It is literally this gun that kind of detaches and turns into a bong, and you POV like are smoking it on screen. Now, to be honest, like we're all like, how many 12-year-olds are out there like using, playing Call of Duty and using this thing? Call me prude, but in my opinion, I feel like it is a little too far. And to me, it seems a little bit like a double standard when it comes to getting banned for voice chats and then having something like this in game. What do you guys think? Is this too far?
It's too far. It's absolutely too far. If Dan can get banned from Xbox for a week for having a photo in game of dudes in Speedos, you can't. This is ridiculous. It's a money grab, because I bet you this is a paid skin, and they're going to
Oh
get
yeah.
a bunch of 12-year-olds and maybe some older people trying to buy this skin thinking it's a cool thing. Who cares? Smoking weed, who cares? But that double standard is really, really blatant.
I don't necessarily think it's a double standard. I mean, just because A, weed is legal, and then B, shouldn't be able to tell people to fuck off on these games. That's just harassment. So harassment, weed doesn't equal harassment. That you can't equate those two in the argument. That doesn't work. You can say that weed's inappropriate for children, and that can be acceptable because you wouldn't put beer in a game. I don't see them chugging tall boys or something like that because that's inappropriate. So weed's inappropriate too. But you can't excuse telling someone to f off to their face just because there's weed in a game. That's a ridiculous argument.
Yeah, I do agree. I think comms can be harsh. Some of these people think they're being very tame, and but they're probably going overboard. So yeah, I think it is a little bit of a double standard. I mean, I still think, you got this bong gun. It's egregious, right? It's like, I don't know.
That's a little wild.
Yeah. So
It's
an
a cash
interesting
grab,
story.
like Maulding said.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we're running out of time, but there's one more segment I wanted to get to before we wrap the show up. Maulding, you had something about the end of the year Xbox reports.
So I all three systems, or at least PlayStation and Xbox, gave you your end of the year stats. You should have gotten an email last week. And I just wanted to point out mine, because mine were pretty nuts.
I want to hear.
Do a little
I've got mine here too.
But so let's just do a round robin real quick. Overwatch 2 was my number one game of 2024. What were yours on Xbox?
Fortnite.
Overwatch 2.
Nice, right there with it. But my hours is what shocked me. I played Overwatch 2 for 381 hours in 2024. A ridiculous amount. Call of Duty is already my number 2 at 155 hours, and Baldur's Gate 3 was my number 3 at 124 hours. And at 124 hours, I'm only in the top 25% of players playing Baldur's Gate 3 at 124 hours. So I thought that was interesting.
You're weak. You're fake.
You guys know? Do you guys know your top 3? Did you have the other 2, Anya?
Mine was Fortnite with 238 hours.
What?
Well, okay, to be honest with you, I play all the modes. I love
you do.
I love all of them, so I play them all. Number 2 was 7 Days to Die. I can't believe your 7 Days to Die wasn't up there. And that's the one I forced you to buy. That one is at 102 hours. And my third one, believe it or not, is the one that got me some of the harshest feedback ever that I've experienced online. And that for when the episode we talked about it. And that's Pal World. I played 95 hours.
Wow.
Lord,
okay.
What are yours?
So Overwatch, this boys, I'm dragging my feet here. So
you play other consoles too.
14 hours.
Oh, baby.
Sea of Stars, 12 hours. Life is Strange, 11 hours.
Because you did the review for it. Now, to be fair, the Xbox isn't your main platform of choice,
right.
So that's why.
And you have a family and a child, so those should take up some time.
Those aren't totally bad hours. I got like 20.
Yes, how many are totally bad hours?
Those are bad hours.
Yeah.
Like, how many games did you play?
That's what I do in 3 days, Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but how many games did you guys play?
Oh, I don't think I have that down. How many games I played? Unfortunately,
I have 23.
How many?
23 games.
I played 111.
Okay,
that's just on Xbox. I play PlayStation too and PC. Okay. I'm an animal.
Okay.
I'm
going to blow you away with my total hours played, though.
Okay, what's your total?
I've got 1,756, which is 73 days of 2024 I played on the Xbox.
Okay, I close 1,416.
Ooh, you are close. I didn't think you would be.
What are you talking about?
I got a whopping 61.
That's what I do.
How did you get on this podcast?
I know. I'm just impressed. You guys, that's what I live for. I live for those hours. That is awesome. And I'm living vicariously through you boys.
Right on. And we know that you play on Steam and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we know you play other ones. One last one I want to do. I'm top 1% of players for most time played and gamer score and achievements unlocked. But I know Dan's going to have me beat in gamer score and achievements unlocked. Gamer score, I got 10,885 and I unlocked 500 achievements. But I know Dan's going to have more than me on those.
No, actually, we're pretty similar. I'm the top 2% of players for time played. I'm the top 1% for gamer score. And I'm the top 1% of players for achievements unlocked. And I only unlocked, I don't know how this can be right. Only it says, 18,585.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
1%.
The gamer score was 18,000.
Yeah, 18,000.
I'm mingling with that 1% right now.
Yeah, you are.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, my friend. Oh, shit.
That's awesome.
Well, that's pretty much all the time we have for this week. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And if you're listening on a podcast, please tell a friend. And on behalf of Matt Maulding, Matt Lord, and myself, Dan Whitehill, thanks for joining us. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing
with you.